Welcome to la chaîne géopolitique. I apologize to all English speakers for the lack of video in English over the last weeks. So I will continue releasing video also in French and in English about the latest development in Afghanistan and about any other geopolitical news. So I would like with you just to give you in this video a full background of what's happening in Afghanistan, how we came to such a situation, meaning how come Taliban came to power yesterday on Sunday, 15th of August. So I would like just to take one step or two steps back, just to really, let's say, to really understand what's happening right now in Afghanistan. So let's remember that actually that the previous American administration led by Mike Pompeo, the former U.S. Foreign Secretary, who decided to lead a negotiation not with the Afghan government, but rather with Taliban. He understood that U.S. troops has to withdraw from the Afghanistan, and in order to withdraw from the Afghan, they need the consent, if I can use speak in this way. They need that Taliban will not attack them. So in order to ensure that Taliban will not attack American troops, last year the Salman Khalilzad, the top negotiator for US on the Afghan issue, decided to sign an agreement with Taliban on 29th of February 2020. So on this agreement, it was scheduled that the American troop will leave Afghanistan on 1st of May 2021. But when President Biden came to power, he realized that the lapse of time between his inauguration in power in January and 1st of May is too short. So he decided to extend this timeline, this deadline, to 11th of September. So he decided that the last American troop will leave Afghanistan by 11th of September, 20 years after the attack on the Twin Towers. So he was really adamant to this idea. He didn't want to let's say to change his mind, and so he slowly he started to withdraw troops, and the latest troops in US has to leave actually by 31st of August. But the Taliban understood that this deadline will arrive very soon, and so that in this withdrawal of American troops is weakens, if you like, the Afghan troops. So basically, they start resuming hostilities against Afghan army since May. Because for them, the original deadline based on the agreement with the Trump administration was May. So remember, in May, I posted some video where I started to say that Taliban will, for them, Americans are supposed to have left. So for them, they can start, if you like, attacking Afghan troops. And since May, they started gaining territories, mainly on rural areas. So let's remember that in May, 85 of the rural districts were under the Taliban control. But for President Biden, that was not scaring. That was part of the deal. He was not scared, so he continued withdrawing. In July, the Bagram base was evacuated, and the Bagram air base was, let's say, the main base of American in Afghanistan. It hosted tens of thousands of US troops, and he withdrew those troops from Bagram in July. So currently, it's remaining around 2,500 US troops in Afghanistan, and Taliban decided to speed up their attack, to speed up let's say the seizure of power. So 2 weeks ago, they decided to attack not provincial capital, and not only to control rural areas, but also to control towns. So we see those attacks started especially in Helmand, because Helmand is a region where Taliban grew, even were born in Helmand. It's a Pashtun area, and so they started controlling some towns like Kandahar, Lashkar. Then we had Kandahar and Kunduz, sorry. So we see that they started from south. They started attacking from various places in Afghanistan from south, and also at the same time they also a couple of days later they started attacking northern Afghanistan, eastern Afghanistan, and slowly they started gaining control of most towns. And yesterday they decided to seize Kabul. And so they're now controlling perfectly Kabul. At the time we are speaking on 16th of August, we cannot say totally that they are controlling 100% of Afghanistan. As far as I know, 23 or 24 provinces out of 36 are controlled by Taliban. So they don't control 100 the entire territory right now. And it's also not entirely clear whether they are in full control of even the province that they have captured. But at the time we are speaking, they are controlling Kabul, so they are controlling the main institution of the country, and that's why they seem to be the de facto authority of Afghanistan. Let's remember also in the 19th, they didn't control 100% of the territory. The territory next to the Tajik border was not at that time also controlled by Taliban. So what will be now the consequences of such control of the most of the Afghan territory by Taliban? What will be the geopolitical consequences? So we see that there are a lot of, let's say, regional powers who are, let's say, would like to fill, let's say, the vacuum left by the United States. Countries like Russia, Popular Republic of China, Islamic Republic of Iran, Pakistan, Turkey would understand that there is a geopolitical, let's say, game to play with Taliban. So let's start with Russia. Russia has announced yesterday that they will maintain their ambassador in Afghanistan. As far as I know, it's one of the few or nearly the only country who made such announcement. Very surprising, because now all countries try to repatriate their diplomatic staff in Afghanistan due to security concern. But Russia, the Russian ambassador talked yesterday with Taliban, probably in order to maintain diplomatic relationship with Afghanistan. For Russia, it's the main reason to maintain diplomatic relationship is that the fact for them it is a major blow for the US, and they would like, let's say, to show to increase their influence in Central Asia. Let's remember that Soviet Union tried to invade Afghanistan, or invaded Afghanistan. It's more correct to say like that. And in those people that now are still in the military establishment of Russia are still nostalgic of this period. For them, it was much more successful operation than American, and they would like to, let's say, to bring to exercise influence on Afghanistan, even though Taliban are in power. So it's for Russia, there is, let's say, some strategical game behind that. For China, it's also a pragmatic move to have a diplomatic relationship with Afghanistan. In that way, they could curb any alliance, any support to Uyghur activist movements. So they try let's say, to control Taliban by having diplomatic relationships. They will control Taliban, and ultimately, Taliban should not support Uyghurs. So that's the calculation of Popular Republic of China. For Islamic Republic of Iran, it's let's say this vacuum means a defeat of for the US and the absence of American troops on the Iranian border. So they would like to maintain, to keep Taliban in power in order to avoid any return of American troops in Afghanistan. And so probably they will support Taliban for in order to keep away US troops on the Afghan soil. And for Turkey, it will, if you like, increase its regional power by playing, let's say, kind of a go-between between US, the Western world, and the Taliban. That's why Turkey would like to maintain Turkish soldiers in Afghanistan and perhaps diplomatic relationship with Afghanistan. So clearly, it's a total change of the geopolitical arena today, not only at the regional level, but also at a worldwide level. It will be very interesting to see whether Western leaders like the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson, or the French President Macron could take some retaliatory measure against Afghanistan. But at the same time, we see that it changes if you like, the puzzle of the geopolitical area, because it's a major blow for the US. And now those if you like, competing power like China, Russia, Turkey, Iran are trying to exploit these major blows, this humiliation of US. So we see that clearly the seizure of power by Taliban yesterday will probably have a huge impact on international relations over the next months and years.